Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Hey, Primetech welcome back to the Primetech File. I'm Lilith, and
I'm Ricky.
Up for discussion today is episode 206, The Line. And I think that was basically a reference to HRG, what lengths he was willing to go to.
Yeah, it's a good exploration of the morality of people with abilities and people without abilities. And also, I think it might be an allusion to the line that West and Claire decide to try and cross. So yeah.
And Maya and Alejandro.
Yeah, exactly.
Good little motif for the episode, I guess.
Yeah.
This is not my favorite episode of Heroes Season 2 at all, by any stretch of the imagination, but some things get done, so I guess give them the synopsis and we can break this episode down.
Cool. Mohinder makes a tough decision while working for the company. Peter and Caitlin make 2 journeys to solve Ricky's death. My death. Noah and the Haitian seek out Isaac's last paintings. Monica finds help in understanding her ability. West helps Claire try to join cheerleading. Maya, Alejandro, and Sila make their way to America. Hiro and Kensei hit a snag on their journey. Nikki is assigned to Mohinder by the company as his partner. One of us, one of them, one of us, one of them.
So we open up this episode in Cork, Ireland at the scene of Ricky's murder. Caitlin looks at an old picture of her brother. Peter apologizes because Killer was after him and he shouldn't have let Ricky cover for him while he was
painting.
Snogging, I believe is the word.
Well, he wasn't even snogging his sister. He was just painting away with his Isaac eyes. It would have been nice if he had painted Ricky dying so he could try and stop it, but yeah.
He states that he won't risk Caitlin's life and that he has to go to Montreal. She insists on going with him since, she's in the painting.
Yeah.
And then Peter asks why she has to go with him, and she says she wants to find her brothers and kill the bitch.
So, she is far too calm considering what's just happened. You know, her brother's just been burnt to death. I know it's not like a thing that you would think about, but there's like no implication to anything after his death. They're just going straight to Montreal. There's no mention of a grieving process.
No wake?
Yeah,
no Irish wake?
Yeah, no
really?
Irish wake. But, you know, it would have been in the pub and no one goes to their pub. So there was no one to run the bar in their absence. But then again, the bar's never open. So
Chuko could have done it.
Exactly. It's very laissez-faire. A brutal murder and a worrying sign for the show that they can make. You know, they need to make some of the events matter. Otherwise, why would she care? Why would we care? I know it's only Ricky, who's got a great first name, really bad Irish accent, but, you know, at the same time, it's kind of a big deal, and they make nothing of it. It's just, he's dead, oh, don't worry, we're going to go to Montreal and forget all about him, which, you know, is a motif that kind of carries on throughout the whole of season 2. Something happening, and then never speaking about it again. Caitlin, sorry, yeah.
Hero logic. So I actually really did miss Claire in the last episode because her and Wes just creep me the hell out.
Yes.
I don't enjoy their interactions. It's just like I don't understand this relationship at all.
And he comes across kind of like a douchebag in this episode. He is probably one of the reasons why humans would hate people with powers, because of just the flippancy of how he does things. Once again, it's that whole kind of hero's logic thing of having things happen and there not being really much of a consequence to it. It's just a way to get Claire back on cheerleading. It's not, oh, you're going to mentally scar this person for life because of what they've just seen. So yeah, he's kind of a douche.
Girls deserve it because cheerleaders are bitchy. Yes, Charlie and Ricky, I saw it. I really hate that trope on TV. It pisses me off because truly most California high schools are competitive cheerleaders, meaning like the kind you see on ESPN and ESPN2. And we don't have time to be bitchy and mean like that. We just don't.
Maybe you don't. Maybe there's people who secretly hate you from high school because you were so flippant with them and because you hazed them by pretending to die.
And the president of 4-H. I had no time to be mean to people. Anyway, yeah, so we cut back to Costa Verde High School, and we see Claire is actually trying out for cheerleading with 2 other girls. They get...
Were you head cheerleader?
Sophomore year I was co-captain.
Yep.
Junior year I was captain.
Would you have accepted Claire with recycle? Really? With the recycle cheer? Because I thought it was kind of poop.
Well, we go to camp and learn the season and cheer, so it's not like you really have to write your own, so it's okay.
And I think that...
But, it's gymnastics is a big part of it if you're competitive cheerleading squad, so... Backhand spring, pretty important.
Not bad. But it also, the whole recycle thing felt very NBC Green Week, didn't it? Anyway.
So it's irritating watching ordinary people with no talent. And then May, played by the wonderful Janelle Parrish, by the way. Love this girl. Tries to change Debbie's mind, saying that Claire was incredible. But then Debbie uses her status to make the rest of the squad take her side. Yeah. And Claire thanks May for trying. And off we go to a gym at the company's hospital.
Oh, wait. Also, is it unextraordinary or is it extraordinary? Because they don't seem to pronounce it right in my mind anyway. Extraordinary or extraordinary? How would you take it?
I always say extraordinary, but then again, I didn't spend a lot of my formative years in the States, so I don't know. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, we see Monica copying the moves of a gymnast from television from Mohinder, who's testing her. When she asks about others like her, he tells her that there are others, but their powers are different, and that she was the first to demonstrate adaptive muscle memory.
Yes.
God, you need better name these damn powers.
Bob enters. I think that's what it's called in the comics as well, though, isn't it? Isn't that what Taskmaster's power is? Or photographic reflexes, I think it's called.
I just like copycat. How come we can't just say copycat?
Yeah, fair enough.
Bob enters and reassures her that her ability is incredible. Monica asks who he is, and he introduces himself as Chief of Operations. Oh, COO. Oh, there you go.
Fancy Bob.
He asked to speak. You would have think he would have been the CFO, considering, but...
Exactly.
He speaks to Mohinder in private. He reveals to Mohinder that the next step of testing is injecting Monica with a variation of the Shotzi virus, designed to remove her ability without harming her. Mohinder is alarmed by this, explains that they risk creating an incurable version of the virus that could spread to the general population. Bob claims that this is a risk that they need to take. Mohinder tries to reason that Monica is a nice girl who loves her ability, but Bob still orders Mohinder to inject her. Later on the phone, Mohinder explains Bob's plan to Noah, who is with the Haitian.
Yes.
Noah tells Mohinder that he has to take the risk or else they will get rid of him and they will lose everything they've worked for. He explains that they have to do bad things sometimes in order to take down the company.
Justice.
Like, don't you go corrupting my sweet little precious baby.
But I think sometimes we have to do bad things. That's just an explanation of HRG in general, because that's pretty much his modus operandi or whatever you call it. So yeah.
Yeah. So since we were already on the phone with HRG and the Haitian, we cut to Odessa, Ukraine, as a woman escorts her grandson outside, wishing her husband goodbye. After the two leave, Ivan finds the Haitian and Noah in his house. Noah greets his old friend by knocking him out with a gun. Yikes.
Yeah.
Wes comes up to Claire during lunch, only to find out that she is upset about not making the cheerleading squad. When Wes asks why she didn't make the team, Claire explains that Debbie didn't find her extraordinary, and she explains that none of the other girls will stand up to Debbie. So Wes tells her that maybe she should stand up to her and give her a taste of her own medicine.
Hashtag douchebag West. Yes.
Let's make that a thing, please.
Why not? I think most people will agree.
Cut to outside Parcela Delgado, Mexico. Maya, Alejandro, and Siler continue towards America.
Oh wait, it's
Siler,
actually given a name. It's not just somewhere in Mexico. Never
no,
even.
because they're getting closer and closer to the American border. You see, so they finally found a place on the map that they could actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're making their way to America. Siler tells Maya that she has a fascinating ability, but Maya tells him that she's killed many people because of it. And that's right up Siler's alley.
Yeah, he loves that.
He's probably got a little happy boner down there just because she's talking about killing. Siler tells her about his previously working abilities of telekinesis and enhanced hearing, but they went away and he needs Dr. Suresh's help. She asks why he wants the ability and tells her he wants to be special. Right on cue, Alejandro wakes up in the back seat and suggests they get a coyote to cross into America, leaving Siler behind. Siler tells Maya that he can get them into the country, and she tells him that she's glad they found him. And I'm like, damn, you're dumb.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But she's one of those other characters who brings religion into it. Like, she calls him the angel Gabriel, and fate has brought them into into their lives. And once again, we get religion.
Fate is a cruel mistress on Heroes. It really is. I'm going to cut to Ando, who walks in on Tetsuya Adesumi as he reads Hero's scrolls. He shows him an exciting portion of the text, but Ando demands to start where they left off.
It should have been like, spoilers.
I know. Hero continues the story of his quest with Kinsey and Geico while they are on Kiso Mountain, the day before they invade Whitebeard's camp. Hiro asks Aiko not to go into battle, but she insists that when she is with Kinsey, she cannot be harmed. She wonders where they will find her father, and Hiro recalls the tale that Kinsey found him in the tent that smolders. She insists that they cannot guess when Kinsey arrives, telling her that her father is in the smoldering tent. Yaiko shoots Hiro a look, and he tells the couple that they should begin to get ready.
Yes.
Noah and the Haitian have Ivan handcuffed in a chair, and I was like, oh, okay. Not what I was expecting. And Noah asks Ivan about the series of 8 paintings depicting Kaito and Noah's deaths. Ivan tells him that he's retired and that he's the regional sales manager of a textile factory.
I wonder how many subsidiaries there are of Primatech in that Heroes universe, because they've got Primatech paper. They've obviously got this Primatech textiles. There's got to be a lot more fronts.
Maybe some ink to go with the paper.
Yeah. Oh, don't speak about ink. Isn't that season 4?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, Ivan reminds Noah that he trained him and Claude, and that the Haitian can't help get information from him. Noah tells him that the Haitian can pull out specific memories from his head, and as an aging man, those memories make his life worth something. Ivan says that he won't since he's his friend, but Noah reminds him that he was his friend and tells the Haitian to start with taking the day of Ivan's wedding from his memory. Noah then asks Ivan questions about his wife, and Ivan does not remember. When Noah asks if Ivan's ready to cooperate, Ivan curses Noah. Before he can show his distaste to the remark, Noah receives a phone call from Claire, asking if she can borrow the car. He allows her to, as long as she locks the door this time, and I kind of chuckle.
Yeah.
She asks where he is, and he tells her that he's at a seminar, and I'm like, you're lying. After hanging up, Wes shows Claire a mask, and I'm like, that awkward moment when Heroes almost kind of sort of turns into 50 Shades of Grey. Anyway, Claire tells him that, she's in. And then we come back to Ivan, asking about the rough life Claire must have since the Bennetts are hiding. He offers his old protege a chance back into the company, claiming that it has changed and they have new directives. He offers the Haitian and the Bennetts protection and the whereabouts of the paintings. Uck was right, because here comes Siler and Maya at the border.
Yeah.
And they find an opening in the fence. Siler tells her to drive through the unfinished fence. The car is then surrounded by armed men with the citizen border control. And I'm just like, yep. Mm-hmm. I feel like Heroes tries to say stuff without saying it, and it just kind of fails miserably.
Yeah, definitely.
Siler tells Maya that they actually aren't the police and should drive around them. Then the armed men surround the car and show their weapons, and are trying to pull them out of the car.
I have no idea. They just seem to be rocking the car back and forth.
Mohinder comes up to Monica with a syringe with the new variant of the virus, telling Monica it's standard procedure. She tells him she doesn't do needles, but he promises her that it's the last step in her training before they let her go home. She winces and turns away, but Mohinder decides against it and basically goes off on Bob and destroys like all the serums that they have so far. Oh, he tells Bob that he's taking Molly and leaving the company.
Yeah, it's that whole the morals of everything here, because you've got Mohinder, who is refusing to do immoral things in the name of the greater good, which is what, the company's all about, doing immoral things for the greater good. But then you've contrasted that with Noah, who is just going off on one in order to try and get what he can do. And, is the company changing? Because, it's still got that shades of grey. Bob seemed, reasonable to Monica before everything happened. And now he's obviously going to do what he has to get Mohinder to do what he's told, which comes up in the rest of the episode.
And for some weird reason, we needed that in between this next scene at the border with Siler and the twins as they're being harassed from outside the car. Silent Alejandro yell at Maya, which makes her upset. This girl can never not cry. Yeah. She feels her ability activating, and Siler fights off Alejandro so it will activate. Yeah. Her eyes turn black, and then outside the car collapse. Siler's eyes turn black as well, and he yells for Maya to draw. If I was Alejandro, I would have just kicked his ass right out of the car.
Her power, kind of changes every time she uses it, because sometimes people are knocked out straight away. And, obviously, wouldn't the vicinity of everything affect you? Because Siler's right next to her, but yet he doesn't kind of collapse. He's got enough wherewithal to tell her to drive, whereas the other guys, who are outside of the car, just collapse straight away. And, it happened when they were travelling under the tunnel. The woman that they were with collapsed pretty much straight away as soon as her power was activated. But I don't know, maybe it's just something to do with Siler.
Maybe it has to do with being in the vicinity of Alejandro.
Yeah, maybe, actually, yeah.
Fan wanking, but just say it with Rick, hero's logic. I'm pretty sure they didn't think that through. Yeah. Anyway, during night practice at the school, and I'm like, dude, this would never happen in California for so many reasons, mainly because we're afraid of lawsuits out there, because everybody sues for everything, but whatever. Debbie writes numbers on the new cheerleader's hands while drinking from a bagged bottle, and I'm like, really? Not even a flask?
But I like the whole... I don't know if this is just me reading too much into it, but she puts the number 37 on, and that's the one that we see most. And this was probably around about the time that they were considering having Kevin Smith direct one of the heroes' origin stories. And I think that might have been a wink to him, because obviously the number 37 was quite big in some of his films, so yeah.
Yeah, she's going off in bitch mode and telling them to watch their weight. And then Claire comes over and asks Debbie for 5 minutes of her time. And Debbie's like, not having it. And then she's like, I'll do your biology homework for a week. And I'm like, really? Yeah. So yeah, she asks Debbie if she'll give Claire one more try, but Debbie refuses. And then Wes, who is wearing the ski mask, flies in, picks up Claire, and drops her from several feet on a flight of stairs. And then, she is all scrunched up in the way that Claire likes to be. Debbie runs away as Wes chases after her. And then the police come in and interview Debbie by the stairs, but of course Claire's body is missing. And then she's explaining her story, and Claire walks up, and another officer's this might explain it, this bottle of booze right here.
It's just a stupid thing to do, isn't it?
It is.
Claire's always never really wanted to be found out, because she never really wanted to be a freak. And here she is, using her power in full view of someone, even though it's to, quote unquote, teach someone a lesson. She's becoming the bitchy cheerleader that she never really wanted to be, if you get me. And I just blame douchebag West. #.
Yeah. And another thing about high schools in America, especially in California, especially if they're allowing practices on school premises, there are going to be security cameras. Just saying. Yeah. Cut to another thing that's wearing on my damn nerves. Hiro, Kensei, and Yaiko are approaching Whitebeard's camp to find the swordsmith, a.k.a. Yaiko's father. Kensei walks up to a guard who stabs him, and then, of course, Kensei says, "Oh, sucks for you," pulls up the sword and knocks him out. That was the best part of this episode, honestly. The three run into the tent to find Yaiko's father. Hiro introduces himself and Kensei. The swordsmith's like, "I thought you were a drunk," and then Kensei's like, "Apparently now I'm a hero." Pretty much how we were talking about last episode. They try to remove the chains holding the swordsmith in place, but he tells them that he can't leave because he needs to destroy Whitebeard's guns. Hero asks where he was able to get guns since the Emperor banned them, but the swordsmith tells Hero that he showed Whitebeard how to make them in exchange for Yaiko's safety. He explains that Whitebeard intends on overthrowing the Emperor, and then Hero remarks that Kensei must save Japan by destroying the guns. All Kensei really does is nod and begins to hack away at the chains. Cut to Mohinder looking at Molly in a coma at the company, and then Bob comes in to apologize to Mohinder and begins explaining what the company has been. He's been with the company for 30 years and that they've made many difficult decisions, some of which he still regrets. Bob then explains that in dealing with dangerous individuals, he made a poor decision in forcing Mohinder to give Monica the virus. Mohinder remembers the file with Adam Rowe's name written on it, and Bob agrees that that's the dangerous guy that they're talking about. Bob explains that Mohinder is with the company not just for his research or his blood, but to keep them alive. Mohinder notes that Molly's not ready to leave, but he also doesn't trust Bob at all. And then Bob explains that he has someone who will help with Mohinder's trust issues. Yeah. That would just make me even more kind of nervous that he think that he's ready to be in the field, but whatever. Yeah. Cut to feudal Japan at Whitebeard's camp. We have Hiro, Yaiko, Kensei, and the swordsmith running away, with Kensei killing many of the men in their way. Guards alert of the attack, and Whitebeard fires a rifle towards the invading party. The bullet nearly hits Hiro or Yaiko, but Hiro teleports the two to safety. Yaiko asks what happened and how the two were moved from where they were. Hiro tells her they must find Kensei, but she asks Hiro if he was able to move them, and then realizes that Hiro has been doing amazing things around her, including the Battle of the 12 Swords and their infamous moment under the cherry blossoms. Yeah. Ugh, this is just another bad. She asks Hiro if he loves her, and he tells her very much. She tells Hiro that everything she loves in Kensei was, in fact, Hiro, and begins to kiss Hiro. Hiro freezes time, and then worries about the space-time continuum, and then he says, screw it, and unfreezes time and kisses Yaiko. And then somehow, mysteriously, Kensei has found them, and he's watching from a distance as they kiss. Yeah. And then, as Ando reads that it was the kiss that fractured time, and that it changed Hiro forever, and Atsumi is like, that's where it is. There are no more scrolls. And Ando's like, I have to know what happens. And I'm like, I don't know. So we're back with the twins. Siler and Alejandro are fighting, and then Maya separates the two. She tells her brother that she had to do what was necessary for the three of them, but Alejandro reminds her that she is a straight-up killer because of Siler. But don't we learn that she's literally already killed so many people anyway?
Yeah. But, I don't know, I suppose, because she didn't do it on purpose the first couple of times, but when she does it with the border guards, she kind of does it on purpose. Like, she doesn't do anything to stop herself. Like, she just follows Siler's direction.
Killer's a killer.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, it's weird. It's like Siler's kind of grooming her, and she's just straight up joining the dark side.
Well, yeah, that's basically what Siler tells Alejandro in English. Yeah. Alejandro can't really understand it. He goes, if I get my powers back, I'm going to kill both of you and take your abilities. And even if I don't get my abilities back, I'm going to kill you and use Maya for my own purposes.
Yeah, it's very Silery. It's very despicable. It seems like, like for this whole kind of first part, he's kind of been Gabriel Grey because he's human. He doesn't have any powers, but this is the first kind of inklings that Siler's coming back, and Siler's the alter ego of Siler is there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I definitely love Alejandro when he tells Maya that, hey, Siler can stay, but the next time your eyes turn black, don't reach for my hand because I'm not going to save him. And if only it could have just ended like that. Anyway, so that's that. And he's kind of just being creepy old Siler. Yeah. Maybe him and Wes should have.
Yeah. Maybe because, in another season, he gets like a little sidekick who he starts training. Maybe it could have been West instead of Microwave Boy.
Yeah. But anyway, back at Costa Verde, California, Claire tells Wes that she can't believe what they just did, and then she starts freaking out about how they could have been caught using their abilities. But Wes tells her it's okay, and it looks like Debbie learned her lesson. And then May comes to tell Claire that since Debbie's suspended from the squad voted, and Claire is now on the squad.
Yeah. And I think at one point, Wes says, you have a power, you're better than her. And that is what humans are worried about. That's a big thing, that people with powers will start using them for personal gain, which seems like it's going to be a big thing in Heroes Reborn. So maybe West is the big bad. Maybe West and Micah are the big bads.
Well, I don't want to see West again, but it's interesting, and we'll see. There's definitely a lot of things going on with Heroes Reborn that I like so far. So then we see Noah back in Odessa, Ukraine, and he asks Ivan why he never mentioned anything about his daughter to Noah, and then he realizes that she must be dead, and then Ivan tells her that she died of leukemia. And I was like, oh, not the Shanti virus? Yeah. Darn. Noah tells him that if he forgot the memories of her, she would seemingly never have existed. He tells the Haitian to take the memories of Ivan's daughter from him. But then Ivan tells them the locations of the paintings in a warehouse by the train yard where they tag the liquid man. It's a graphic novel about that. Kind of, sort of.
Cool team building exercise, which we'll talk about. I like the whole Noah using the mind wiping power as torture because, you know, it's not a conventional kind of torture that you see on TV quite a lot. Like, you always see the water boy and all that kind of stuff. But, well, now you do anyway. You know, hurting the mind, it seems a lot more sinister. It's kind of taking memories away can be kind of horrific. And in a show of superpowers, it's a shock to see him, like, murder someone in a traditional way and not using powers. But yeah, it's also a shock to see Noah just totally going to the dark side at this point just in order to kind of destroy the company.
Yeah, I agree. I was just like, oh, HRG.
Yeah, you're back.
You're worse than the company at this point now.
Exactly.
So yeah, Ivan asked, like, so how are we going to do this? Are you going to take the memories of you and the Haitian? And Noah's like, nah, son. I want to straight up kill you. And he's like, remember what you taught me? The best way to cover up is to make it look like you're not even there. So that's what we're doing. And then, like, Noah just cold steel face just shoots him point blank in the face. I was like, damn. Back in Japan, Hiro finds Kensei after searching for hours. Kensei tells Hiro that he saw him kiss the girl he loves. And I'm like, really? You love her? Yeah. Are you sure it has not been that long? But whatever. And another really bad trope, a hero going bad because he lost the love of his life to another man. Ugh. Anyway, Hiro tries to explain that it was an accident, but that she is Kensei's princess. And then he tells Kensei that they gotta stop Whitebeard. And then Kensei seemingly appears to agree. However, he then knocks Hiro out, and Whitebeard comes out with his men, who have captured the swordsmith in Yaiko. Whitebeard offers Kensei anything he wants for his help, and then Kensei kind of steps over Hiro's body and mosey's on off into the sunset. Yeah,
like I said, none of this hero storyline is kind of feeling true because of just the brief time we've spent with getting to know Kensei and just how flimsy he changes from drunk to hero to being in love to being the bad guy. And I think, you know, he's not very well defined at this point, and the acting isn't very convincing. Like, obviously it gets better, but yeah,
I'm glad we're almost done with this. Cut to Bob, who is bringing Monica home, and explains that they have provided a cover story for her absence. He gives her a list of contact information and an iPod. Yeah. Well, I guess I specifically have to say video iPod, because this is 2006, 2007, so wasn't standard, guys. Can you believe it? And it's loaded with a ton of videos with just about any physical skill for her to learn. Yeah. She thanks them, and he replies that New Orleans could use some of her
heroic powers. Yeah, it kind of feels like a Marvel / DC kind of story at that point. Like, as soon as I remember seeing that, I just remember thinking about the Avenger Initiative or Batman Incorporated, like the company were going to have a hero in like every city to help kind of protect the city. Obviously, what could have been.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. Something that never went anywhere after that. So then we are back at the company hospital where Mohinder is greeted by Nikki, who tells him that she feels much better and that she has been assigned to be his partner. Yeah. She's like, yeah, Bob told me you were having some trust issues, so I'm here to ensure that there aren't any more problems. Yeah. And it's like ominous and sweet at the same time. It was like a Meredith moment, right?
Yeah, definitely. Nicely, but very sinister.
So then we find a warehouse where Noah and Haitian find 6 of the remaining paintings from Isaac, and they begin to place them in order. The paintings depict several things, including a vial, an angry blonde woman, 2 men sword fighting, Mohinder firing a gun, and Noah's death. Yep. And I'm like, wait a minute. So they shipped them all off together?
And they're numbered? No, we've seen some of them already. We've obviously seen the number one in Lizards, which I think that's Kato dying. And then we've seen the vial in this one, which I think is number 2 or number 3. We've basically seen number 2 and number 3 in this episode. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but yeah, we've seen 2 of them, and then we'll see a couple more in the next episode, and then we won't see them towards like near the end. So yeah.
So then, in another warehouse in Montreal, Peter and Caitlin. Well, we don't know that it's a warehouse yet. In Montreal, Peter and Caitlin approach a door with the symbol. Take a shot, guys. Over it, as depicted in Peter's painting. The two entered the Montreal building, finding a room with several items, including banners seen in Whitebeard's camp. And then Peter sees a mirror with a note on it with his name. He flips it over and finds that the note is from a man named Adam. Were you paying attention, guys? Telling him that he and Peter were right about the company and that the world is in danger. Caitlin asks if he knows Adam, but he doesn't remember any Adams or companies. Caitlin hugs Peter, and Peter asks aloud for someone to tell him who he is and what the future holds. The two break the hug, only to find themselves in the middle of a deserted Times Square. The streets are abandoned with litter everywhere. The two wonder how they got there, and Peter picks up an evacuation notice dated June 14, 2008, which is a year from now.
Dun, dun, dun. And once again, we have gone back to the destruction of New York, or something bad happening to New York, which is very original.
Especially in the Heroes universe.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's the to be continued cliffhanger for the week.
You start off with your grade. What would you give it?
This is like a C- for me. I don't know. I was bored.
Yeah.
That's like when Heroes bores me. It's a shame. I'm feeling bad for Noah going down this dark rabbit hole. It's just everything seems so bleak right now. And that's just not what Heroes is, here for. It's supposed to be a fun, uplifting kind of show. And it was kind of turned into this dark, gritty thing. And I'm just like, ugh, not another dark, gritty show.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm going to give it a C- as well. Because, nothing like the hero storyline is grating on me at this moment in time. And I can see why they're doing it, because they're building up towards a new character. But also at the same time, it's kind of like, Hero's either good when he's the comic relief or when he's future hero, and we're not getting either of those in this storyline. We're getting lovelorn hero, and it's for a character who we don't really know that much about. Sure, we didn't know much about Charlie, but that seemed a lot more sweet and innocent, whereas this one kind of seems a bit weird. And that whole storyline is just Hero using his knowledge to guide them on their journey, but at the same time, it's a story or a myth. They're just playing really flippant with the time travel kind of at this point. Also, and the West, just douchebag West, like that storyline just felt misplaced, especially with Claire's character, like I've said previously. So yeah.
Yeah. They kind of sort of get it together in the next couple of episodes, but this one just... This is
that season 1 fillery Sanders episode that we had, the one that has to happen just so things can get better. So yeah, that's the only way I can really explain it.
All right, let's talk about some highlights though. There were some. So you got any favorite scenes?
I am going to go with, I really liked Monica's ability. I really liked that acrobatics scene, and I kind of like Bob giving her the video iPod as well. I thought it was kind of nice, and it kind of showed that the company was kind of changing, and it kind of was Bob making up for nearly taking away her power. How about you?
I don't think they're seen so much as moments for me in this particular episode. I like Mohinder showing up to Monica's place, offering help and guidance. I really, really liked the scene between Siler and Alejandro, because it was really funny to me. And I like the Nikki scene with Mohinder.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like, it was a miracle moment. And like, this is like the first thing I've ever said nice about Nikki.
Jesus, I'm going to have to put that on the clamor. How about lines? Obviously, you've got to go with Siler. Siler moment I thought was very good. It's where he's talking to Alejandro. It's just typical kind of Siler, and the eyes just have it all with him. Obviously, the eyes and the eyebrows.
It's really funny because He's trying to, like, he's saying something really sinister, but he's saying it with a smile on his face. You know, his body language, you know, will give away, even if you don't speak, you know, the language, you have to tell somebody's intentions with the body language. So he's very careful not to give it away. But Alejandro just does not like to do it. He's still seething, and that is how.
And Alejandro is...
Stay away from that sister, you gringo.
Exactly. Alejandro is still the Isaac of this season, and Maya is the Nikki of this season still, so yeah.
Nikki and Simone, all that. But another line that kind of made me sad for HRG is where Ivan says, you know, shoot me and there's no going back. You'll condemn yourself to hell. And then Ivan pulls a Han Solo and just says, I know. It's really sad how dark he's going right now.
That's what happens when you know you're marked for death.
Yeah, basically.
Why doesn't he just accept it like Isaac did? No, I'm joking. So, trivia I have. This episode is dedicated to Tim Susko, who was one of the key location managers, who passed away in August of 2007. The scene where Claire and West pull a prank on Debbie is a reference to Hitchcock's North by Northwest, where Cary Grant is chased by a plane. The storyboard for the scene explicitly references the classic scene. This is the first episode to have characters in the past, present, and future in the same episode. Noah and Ivan talk about when they worked together in the company, when they tagged the Liquid Man. The bag and tag event is shown in the graphic novel Team Building Experience, and in the episode commentary for the line, Adam Armus and Kay Foster refer to picture number 7 as Mohinder with a gun, which is very apropos. Okay, so we were going to move on to team building exercise quickly. Basically, team building exercise is Ivan and his partner with Noah observing them. Ivan's partner has the power of pyrokinesis, and it seems like it's a time where the company are going through a couple of changes, and they've started to introduce the system of bagging and tagging people, and it's just Noah observing for the most part, and it's just him. It's just showing how his mind works, and he says that Ivan and his partner are too much brawn. There's no brains, so he's the kind of brains of the operation who tells them how to bag and tag this Liquid Man, is all we're given. So yeah, it ends with them bagging and tagging the Liquid Man, thanks to Noah and his great brain. So yes.
I wanted to talk really quick about the original Easter egg. It was a photo of the show assistant Nick Greco with the model from Deal or No Deal, Claudia Jordan, who, yes, is a Real Housewife of Atlanta. I don't know for how long. She was born as... Anyway, yeah, but then then they changed it, and it was actually just to be behind-the-scenes photo of Hayden Panettiere.
Do you know why they changed it?
Because it was very, like, who cares about a show assistant? I think it was an accident, quite honestly.
Fair enough. The only trivia I have is the Russian text on the door translates to the freezer machine, and the small text by the latch translates to danger freezing. In an email, Travis Kotzebue, I've destroyed that name, said that he used an online translator to search for the Russian translation of freezer car. That's all I have.
Obviously, it was Babblefish because Google Translator wasn't out.
Exactly.
Babblefish is so bad.
Who was give us the rest of the details on that?
Who wrote this story? Somebody new to the tie-in comic graphic novels or whatever. It was Pierre Luigi Cothran, and then of course the art was by Travis Kitzbouye. So I don't know, like, just the art was suddenly seeming kind of lesser. It was just like, you know what I mean? Like these graphic novels for season 2 were just like not
up to scratch. But I don't know. I think when it gets to the writer's strike, they kind of start getting a bit better, and the comics, at least I think that they get more in depth and they start to break out onto their own, especially with like the story of Donna Dunlap and Root, or whatever his name is, Julian Demont. So I think they get better, but it just feels like it just feels like an afterthought. The comics feel like kind of like an afterthought at this point in time. I'll move on to emails. I will give you a guess as to who has sent us an email.
Is it my favorite English idiot?
No, it's not. It's someone. No, of course it is.
I was gonna say what?
So
Now I have to undrink this drink I just took.
English Idiot 101, who is Charlie. I quite liked Fight or Flight since it introduced Elle. I really liked Elle, and her power was so cool. Matt and Nathan's visit to Matt's father was interesting, and the dreamlike scene was quite a twist. I really wish Monica had some better scenes, but her and Micah are good together. They didn't need to have Nikki, just get rid of her. The line was so much slower, but had some good scenes. I actually liked Claire and West's revenge scheme, even if West is a creep. Maya and Sila just shouldn't be in a scene together. All they do is have boring dialogue and stare at each other. Sila deserves to have much better scenes. I think that's because Charlie really likes Sila and doesn't like Maya. Anyway, the interrogation in Ukraine was kind of intense and sort of out of character, I'd say, for Noah. The ending was quite good and made me want to watch next to see what happened to Peter and Caitlin. So yes. And now we will move on to shameless plugs and self-promotion. You can email us at Primatech with your thoughts on Heroes episodes or Primatech File episodes, or any questions about the show or for your hosts. You can listen to us on Stitcher and iTunes. Just search Primatech Files. Also, download, subscribe, rate and review on iTunes to help people find us. You can bookmark our Libsyn at primatechfiles.libsyn.com or fave Southgate Media Group on SoundCloud. Those are all the ways you can listen to Primatech Files on your various mobile devices. Search Southgate Media Group on iTunes to find more podcasts on TV and pop culture, and search out southgatemediagroup.com to learn more about the podcast, learn more about the hosts, and read their weekly blogs. You can find us on loads of social media sites: Tumblr, Facebook, Clamour, and YouTube. Just search Primatech Files and you will be able to find us. We live tweet 2 episodes every Saturday. Just follow Primatech Files on Twitter to find out which episodes and use the hashtag Primatech Files to join the conversation. We just finished episode 6, and the people who joined us were Red Rose Piano, Soft_Guitar 60, Paraceline, English Idiot 101, and Cinzia 667. They all tweeted along, faved or retweeted during the live tweet. You can find me on quanmagazine.com or thepeoplesmovies.com, or mainly at tvbinges.com for all your binge watching needs and to create your own TV binge. Finally, you can find me at Ricky J. Diaz on Twitter, RICKYJDIAZ, or Z if you're American. I finally finished Lilith.
What? Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at LilHellfire. I'm on Tumblr, that's LilHellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, my blog, dedicated to comic book geeks and pop culture stuff, little pop culture, blogspot.com.
Download the podcast, save the world.